All right, we're recording. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So this is, maybe you'll see this, maybe you won't. We will find out. If you're seeing this, it's a catch up with my team, my amazing team who's here. Some of them are visible, some of them are not, some of them are double. And we're talking about Choose, Commit, and Create, which is the 3-month program that we're launching into on the 1st of Jan. And these are the amazing guys that have helped me put it together. Rashmi's made the amazing website and has been a real force behind it. Say hi, Rashmi. And Datu's been our wheel. He's been the one that's been like keeping things in motion.
Yes.
Come on, let's do this and more this, and of course just been the brain behind all of it. Hitakar's been our goalie, like, hey, when's the next goal? And Prerna's been our kickasser. She's been kicking our ass through it all. So, but basically, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for these guys, because honestly, I would rather be like, hey, what else can we do? What other project can we create? And what else, rather than actually go like, okay, 3-month program, I'm committing. I really needed these guys to be able to pull this off. So I'm really grateful for each of you. And yeah, so they want to talk to me about Choose, Commit, Create. Most of them have done classes with me. Rashmi has not, but I think I have the sense that it's slightly different style than I have ever done before, slightly different level of commitment, slightly different levels of dive that we will be doing into our spaces. I am a different person as well from the last time that I probably facilitated one of these longer sessions. So I'm really excited to see what shows up in this call. Choose, Commit, Create. Let's do this.
Yes.
All right, guys. Do you have any questions for me?
So can you tell us about what, like, if you can give us a brief about what choosing, committing, and creating is for you? And was it something that you developed over time, or was it something that came naturally to you?
So Choose, Commit, and Create for me are actually very similar energies, so to speak. This almost simultaneously feed off each other. Like, I think the sense of choosing has an element of creation involved in it. You've got to create the moment, create that demand in your world to choose something, right? Like, I'm having it. And creation is a choice, and committing is a choice and a creation both in itself. So I think in a sense they're very similar energies, but at the same time they're really distinct in terms of the muscles that are required for each of these. There are parts of you there are things in your life that you would notice are easier to choose for you. There are things in your life you completely hate committing to. And there are things in your life which are easy to create, and there are things in your life which are not so easy to create. And I think the same was for me. It was choice comes, and I think I mentioned this even on my website, choice does come a little easier to me. It's easier for me to choose anything. It's easier for me to choose. It's easy for me to just constantly keep choosing, because that is how I have learned to live. I've grown up around a lot of cities. I've moved around a lot. And so that sort of helped me get to this place where I knew that constantly choosing was the only way for me to actually make the best of the time I had, where I had and when I had it, right? So if I was going to be in, Datu, I can't see you. Can you move a little this way? I'm literally seeing half your face. Okay, good. That's better. Easier to address a person when you see all of them than part of them. It's just interesting. Okay, so so that's as far as choosing goes. Commitment was something that was not easy for me. In fact, because I was so used to constantly changing things and changing environments and all of it, I almost started using change as an escape to commit. Like, I would do everything I could to avoid committing to a project or a creation or something that I knew would create more for me in the future. Create long-term value, create long-term money, create long-term business, success, anything. So most of it was like the moment it would start doing well, I would drop it and do something else, right? Before it would really take off. So it was almost like a fear of success, fear of commitment, all of that mixed into one. Creation, on the other hand, was again something that was fun for me. I like creating, but I would never create from choosing myself. I would always create based on being the chosen one. And that's something I will talk a lot about when we start the program. But I think it's mostly, how do you choose in your life? How do you create in your life? Do you create it based on you doing the actual, you being the central theme in your universe, central figure, central person? Or do you do it based on making other things, projects, people, everything external as important, and the funnel through which you create and choose and commit? So I think that's the part that I want to talk about a lot. And I think that might come towards the end when I actually get into the specifics of what it is that makes you choose or commit or create your life. So yeah, because for me, it's been a journey. It's really been, I knew I was choosing. At some point, I started committing and definitely creating more. And then I started asking, am I truly choosing for me? And similarly in other aspects as well. So we will go more into that in the program. Does that help?
Yeah. You have a question?
Yes, Rashmi.
So if I don't even know what I want and I'm trying to get into this program, what do I look forward to?
Well, if you don't know what you want, then this is exactly a program for you. And I know that sounds like a real sell, but it isn't, because I remember having this conversation with Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access Consciousness, which is a lot of the tools that we will be using in this program will be of Access Consciousness, because I am an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. So I remember telling him, I was like, but I don't even know what I want. And he's just like, do you not know what you want, or you haven't yet defined what you want? So you keep thinking you don't know what you want. Because when you ask for the energy of what you want, you actually do get an energy. I would get an energy, but I didn't know what it was. I had no sort of reference point for it. And so therefore I could not define it. And therefore I thought I didn't want anything, or I didn't know what I want. So one of the things that we will, and that's why I think it's really amazing for you to be on this, Rashmi, because it is a 3 month looking at, it's 3 whole months of looking at, am I lying to myself? Do I not know what I want? Or am I too scared of finding out that what I want is actually so unreal, so out there, so unbelievable, and sounds so impossible that I would refuse to even acknowledge it to myself, forget others? Is that true? Does that read? Yes. Okay, cool. That's my point. It's like, this is actually then just like, this is for you then. So I would say for people who don't know what they want, this is a great platform. But more than anything else, even for people who have a sense of what they want, but haven't been willing to either choose it or commit to it or actually create it in this reality, physically actualize it, this is really a space for them, a safe space. Like this journey would really help them make it come true. So if you don't know what you want, or if you have a sense of it but you're not sure, or if you have a sense of it but haven't really committed to it, haven't really actualized it, then this would be exactly where you do that. This would be where we find that out for you through the private sessions, the personal sessions, one-on-one that you and I will have. We will also have group facilitation, and we have a limited group. We have a limited number of spots, so it will be still pretty intensive in terms of what's required, what's changing. And the other things, we will also have exercises, and we will have things that I will ask you for writing on. And these exercises will sort of make you aware of where you're at, and acknowledging where you're at is half the job done, but we will be asking you the right questions. We'll be asking you the things that actually hit the mark about what it is you want to change, what have you been looking at, what have you been unwilling to look at, all of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
What else?
I have a question.
Yes, Prerna.
So I'm just going to start my video for this. Hi. No
Oh my
makeup.
God, you're
Don't
so
get
cute.
scared. Okay.
You look so nice.
Sure. Thank you.
I mean it.
Okay. So for people who don't know you, obviously we've done classes with you and have a sense of the kind of stuff that you do and the places you are taking people through your facilitation. But what about people that aren't, that don't have a taste of what your facilitation is like? Obviously, there are like thousands of facilitators out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say is like your, you know what I mean? Like your way of doing
USP.
things? Yeah, your USP.
Well, that is what we used to say. So I've spent 10 years in advertising and marketing, and we used to always be like, okay, so what's the brand USP? What's the unique selling proposition per se? But obviously in energetic terms, that means what I tend to call is actually a signature, like what that person energetically, everyone has an energetic signature in my world. Like that's what I sense whenever I see something, someone, whether it's even sometimes even a word has this energetic signature because that's what it brings up for you. So I guess what would be different with me, and I'm not saying I'm the only one that does this, but I can be very, very creation oriented. Like a whole lot of times the conversations can be about changing something or looking at something. But I would always take it one step further and be like, okay, so now what are you creating? Now what are you choosing? Now what are you changing? Now what are you committing to? Right? So it's always about actualizing whatever it is that's been hiding from you or you've been hiding from, whether that's a project or something. So there's a lot more actualization, and there's a lot more ass kicking. There's a lot more strong talk, and usually slightly gentle, but there is a way that I can sometimes see where a person is limiting themselves very, very clearly, and I'm willing to be patient and sometimes be assertive and sometimes be very, very forthright in getting that person to be able to ask them the questions that are slightly maybe difficult or uncomfortable, and actually just getting people to make friends with discomfort, which is something that I've learned to do over time as well. You're on mute.
I'm on mute. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, now can I ask?
Yes,
Okay, there are a few of my friends whom I know will be interested, but only thing that they are suffering for some of their personal issues.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I, get them into joining into this? And secondly, if they are in the States, like in the US or different time zones, will it be viable with them?
That's a fantastic question. So there's basically till the 30th of November. So depending on when you're seeing this, 30th of November 2018, you can actually pay early bird price, which is 70,000 INR, which sort of is way lesser than the monthly price. But if someone is not able to do that in one go, then they can pay 30,000 each month. At the end of the month. So, I mean, beginning with 30 and then beginning of every month, they would pay 30,000, and that would be a way to ease instead of making a one-time payment. So that's the way we've come up with a way of easing people to be able to pay for the whole thing. But it would obviously, it's not as great at a cost as the early bird investment would be. And the other thing is that we will be doing this via, I think, Facebook mostly, and then we may even have a WhatsApp group based on who will join and if they have WhatsApp. But that's a great way to sort of, there'll be recordings of everything. So I'm in Europe, so it will be not so hard for me to be able to do sessions one-on-one with people in the US. And the other way would be to, of course, go through the exercise as and when they wake up, as and when their day goes. That would be my best way of doing it. So it doesn't have to be, it's not time-based really, except I think the one-on-one sessions, which would require both of us to be, me and the other person, to be able to come together. Everything else can be watched or listened to or done or read later, whether they are on Facebook or WhatsApp.
I got it. Thanks. No, I'm asking like there are certain people who are suffering from some issues. Like some say son is into drugs, and I'm saying will these type of program help them to? That's what I want to know. Like our financial issue.
Yeah. No, so I don't know if any issue that they think that they really need resolving will not go away, because in any aspect of your life, choice is the greatest element there is to changing things, right? It's the choice to look at something, the choice to not look at something, the choice to change something, the choice to not change something, right? And that's the first element that we talk about. And then we talk about committing to create a different kind of life, committing to create possibilities, committing to create a whole lot of different things. So whether you use those tools to change one aspect of your life or every aspect of your life, that entirely depends on them. So I think the tools will be universal, and I'm sure they can be used to change any aspect. And more than anything else, the one-on-one sessions would really help in that case. So if they're specifically dealing with kid on drugs or something, then that's definitely something they should bring up with on their personal sessions with me.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
So welcome.
I have another question.
Yeah, right.
Scare you all again. Okay. So why would a person need a mentorship program, right? Like if there's a sense of you say I can handle it and I can do it on my own and I don't need to share this with someone else. You know what I mean? So what is your why do you think people really need to be on something like that?
Well, I can only say it from my perspective, and I have gotten to where I've gotten to in life because at all times I've always had someone or the other who was willing to show me the way, and I was willing to learn, and I was willing to ask, and that will never change. In fact, it's funny, just a few days back I actually made a call to these two counselors that I know who actually have worked with like the board of directors of Volvo and like these really, really big fancy companies and stuff like that. And I'm learning from them. I'm right now actually getting coached on how to develop a corporate coaching program simultaneously. So, and the base and the start of it is they're asking me questions about myself. So they're asking me to look at myself in a whole different way. Just yesterday I did this exercise where I had to learn how others perceive me, how I perceive myself, what are the things I've hidden from myself, what are the things that are a facade about me, what are the things that are unknown to myself. So it's this model that I was trying out yesterday itself. So I'm always on a learning curve, and I've always had someone or the other. And I would know this because there's just so much information out there. There's just so much stuff going out there that sometimes you do need someone to sort of get a sense of who you are, where you're at, and what is it that you need to look at to change it, instead of what everybody's it's a big wide world out there, right? It's World Wide Web. It's everything is just wide and huge and all of it. So for me, I've always used guidance and mentors as a way of changing directions, changing course, or course correcting, or looking at whatever it is that I need to do next. How do I scale up from where I'm at to next, right? So for every inflection point in my life, I've actually usually had someone. So whether that was in Buddhism, I would go to my leaders for regular guidances. Whether that was while I was working in advertising, I would have these seniors who would always like, Tulika, we want to see how things actually shape up for you, because you really like reach out and you always ask for guidance on what's next, what do I do. I would always spend time with some of the seniors at work. So I think for me, it's the only way I've been where I have. And I think that's why it works. Of course, it may work for some and it may not work for everybody. That's exactly how anything in life is. It works for some and it doesn't. So you would know from yourself and your life and that whether it's for you or not. But to me, having someone who's been through that curve or has seen something or know something and is willing to facilitate me, is been my way of reaching where I have. And it will always continue. Like I said, till yesterday, I was doing this exercise. A few days back, I was having a chat with someone else. So for me, it'll always be the case. I will always be looking for someone who could mentor me, guide me, direct me, help me change course, correct course, or just let me know I'm in the right direction. Even that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was
That's
a very
all I
long
wanted.
answer. Sorry?
No, but that made a lot of sense. So yeah, thank you.
How did it make sense to you?
Because I can like relate to that as well. Like, because I've always seeked, like people who inspire me, I will always go and talk to them, like no matter what, like, you just get that energetic thing and you're like, oh, that person. And you're like, you're going to get something from them, or you're going to learn something from them. And I've always followed my intuition or instinct or whatever. I'm always going to say, I want to go talk to that person. And it's always been beautiful. Like, it doesn't, even if it doesn't give you like an immediate
result.
Yeah, but somewhere down the line it does, whether it's a year down the line or it's 10 years down the line or whatever it is, if you don't have a time frame to it, it always does. So it made a lot of, like, I can like resonate with that. So
no, I really have a lot of people to thank for where I'm at and for where I'm gonna go, I'm sure. So.
Awesome.
All right, what else? Do you guys have something else, or should we end it on that note?
If you could also walk us through the program once again as to what is it going to be like. So it's 3 months of choose, commit, and create. So they're going to be personal facilitation and what else?
So the way I'm sensing the energy of it right now is that I think I'm literally going to spend 1 month on each topic, which is why it's choose, commit, create. It's like a month on choice and everything about choice. Literally bring it to threadbare. What is choice? Where do you learn to choose from? How do you choose? What is the basis of choosing, and all of it? So it's going to be a whole month of what the choices you're unwilling to make, what are the choices you're willing to make that are not working for you. How soon are you willing to choose? How quickly do you choose? All of that. So it's a whole. I think I would end up spending a lot of time talking about all 3 months, but I think the focus would be a lot more on choice. The next one would be commit, and the third would be creation, which is how I like to leave it. Like, I love talking about creation, but I get that whenever I've talked about it, like that journey to get there, to talk about genuine actualization and creation, towards the end of it would really come around. Like, it would come together for everybody. So hopefully, and what else will we have? We will have, I think, basically my touch point with everybody would be daily in terms of like a motivation or inspirational text, or maybe an exercise, or maybe a video audio thing. So definitely something once a week where we either have a one-on-one, or we have a Zoom call, or we have an audio meditative guidance. So once a week there'll be some major conversational sort of thing, and there'll be something almost every day of reminding you to stay committed, keep choosing, and keep creating. And a whole lot of ass kicking through whatever format required.
Also, could you talk about, so it's obviously going to be facilitation based and access based. Apart from this, what else can people expect? So meditation, energy pulls.
Exactly. So basically the audios that I do end up being really, really powerful. And that's something that I've developed over the last 2 years that I've been doing them. And they really are about, they're semi-meditative. I wouldn't call them completely meditative because they are really action-oriented. They're like, okay, pull energy, or do this, or create that, or even the relaxation. It's always with a bit of, it's a lot of energetic work simultaneously. So it's more energetic meditation than actual that rest, relax, peace out kind of meditation. So the audios are always really, really wonderful. And this is something that almost every participant and all of them have gone back and told me that, dude, your audios are amazing, and they're really cool, and they knock me out every time I hear him, and I keep re-listening to them. So, and literally re-listen to them. People listen to them all the time. So that would be, I think, something that's completely unusual and different that not too many people have. So that's something that really is something to hold on to even for after. It's a great reminder. And besides that, of course, I read a lot and I study a lot. So there's a lot of like external stuff that I will bring in, like the model that I was talking about that I was working on myself. I think I'm going to create that something of like that into this project as well. So this 3 month, I will bring in some more of that external stuff. So that's the because I am also on my own journey of understanding myself and other things. So whatever works, I will bring in that bits as well. So you will see a lot of non-usual stuff as well. Unusual. Anything that really works and gels and gets you to be you and know you even better.
Yeah, okay. So I was trying to mute and unmute. Yeah, okay,
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to share? What's exciting for you guys about this? Why do you want to be a part of it? Let's turn the tables.
Oh my God, talk about putting someone in a spot.
So Prerna,
So
why would you be part of it?
So Prerna it is. So, so for me, I love the way you facilitate. You just get to the point. I mean, I don't want to like beat around the bush. I hate people beating around the bush. And with you, it's like, oh, you want to go there? Okay, let's go there. So for me, it's like, thank God for like people like that. Like, just take me there. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush. So your energy is so like, get to the bottom of it and let's go and let's hit the ground running. I remember the Art of Wealth in Delhi. The first 15 minutes, we were all like brain fried. Like, what? What just happened? This was supposed to be a whatever add-on class that I did after SOP because of that too. But I was like, what the fuck just happened in the first 15 minutes? So I mean, that
snoring. Do you remember?
You were snoring too, okay?
This was not because the class was boring, guys. It was because I did an audio meditation sort of a thing.
Yeah, oh my
God.
And
it knocked them out. It was a really cool one.
It was that class was amazing, and also interacting with you one-on-one, you know, it's very I hope my expression said it because I can't find the words for it. But it's I wouldn't miss it. Like, even if I wasn't on your team, I would have paid for this and I would have like done it.
Damn.
I love the way you facilitate. I love your willingness to go and to take the person there, even if the person is being like really stupid and dumb and slow and whatever. So yeah, that's so
cool.
That's yeah.
Thank you.
For me, it's been I think it's just watching you having chosen so much for yourself. And for me, like, I think our conversations began around what the hell choice really was. You know? These tools were so amazing, and you know, all of it looked. I mean, I feel like, you know, we've integrated magic. At least I feel I've integrated magic with access tools, and I really want to step it up because I feel like, yes, it's been there. You know, it's like we've had the appetizers, but like I'm ready for the main course now. You know, so like I'm ready to really go there and really choose. The juice, like the real juice.
I'm sorry, are you still talking about like food? Are you at food again? You're hungry, aren't
you? Foodie junk.
Ready for the main course.
Yeah.
I think the space that you have, right? Like, I mean, the space that you create is, I mean, one will have to create like from that space. Like, you cannot like not create. So yeah, it's that. And then
I've had one person in all these years ask for their money back, and it was just, I think it was mostly because she was just like, I don't get it. Got it. She was, I guess she just didn't want to go. She didn't want to create. So it was really as simple as that. But she was like, you're not listening to my problems. So.
Okay, so something's coming up. Actually, Prerna and I were having a conversation the other day, and something came up around creation and awareness.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to talk to you, Prerna, fill in the blanks, okay, where required. And then you try and get a sense of this and try and tell us if now is the time or should we address it during the 3-month thing. So when we get an awareness of something, okay, are we creating for that? I mean, are we affecting or changing that awareness somewhere? Now, for example, Prerna, I think I've lost words. Can you say that? Can you say what we said? We had like a long discussion about it.
Yeah, this is at like 4:30 in the morning. But so you're aware, right? Like if supposing I'm aware of, let's say there's going to be an earthquake in Mexico. Not that I have any such awarenesses at the moment, but in case I do, I was just like, I think wondering how I usually think in my head about how much of you are you then contributing to that creation of that awareness. Because for me, there's awareness, and then there's like how Gary says, it's, you're just aware, you don't have to do something about it. But if there's an awareness that really sticks you, how much more are you then contributing to then creating that, is basically what the 15-minute conversation was about in a nutshell.
So one of the things that I've been saying, I think for the past 4-5 years that I've been facilitating, is awareness is just an awareness for 10 seconds. After that, it's a conclusion. Okay? Nothing is valid for more than 10 seconds. So how can awareness be valid for more than 10 seconds? Doesn't mean it may not happen, whatever it is that you're aware of. My point is, if you've gone out a question after that awareness, if you stopped asking, so it's like, okay, so truth, was that light or heavy? Okay, light. Okay, it's light. Just because something is light for you to choose doesn't mean you have to. Yeah, that's light. Cool. I'm still not choosing. Okay, so, and this is the part that sticks most people, is that there is a genuine difference between awareness, choice, question, creation, commitment, all of it. These are all separate energies. They're all intertwined, they're all similar. But if you lump them without getting a sense of where you're at with what, this ends up being the discussion. You're like, I didn't do anything about that awareness. Yeah, you didn't, but that's fine. That was a choice that you didn't do anything about awareness. But did you actually create something based on that awareness? No, you created something because choice creates. You chose to do something or not to do something about it. That was choice. That has nothing to do with awareness. These are very minor, subtle differences, and you get them only when you actually start practicing these in daily life, like in everyday life, and you start acknowledging that something's light and I'm not going to do it. Does not mean it's wrong. Does not mean heavens will fall. Does not mean something will go wrong. Not at all. How much are you creating wrongness in your world because you got the awareness of something and you didn't actually do it? Now, what's actually being created? It's not because of the awareness. It's the judgment that you have of yourself for not doing something that you thought you're supposed to do. When you have an awareness, you're not supposed to do anything. It's just an awareness. The judgment of that awareness comes later when you judge yourself or someone else who you've had an awareness about hasn't done whatever it is that you told them to do, or you've not done whatever it is you decided at that time to do, not chose. Choice is really easy. Do it or don't do it. Be or don't be, or, do something else. Or don't choose. But it's just choice. Okay?
Because that's what, like, it's so it's so liquid, right? Like all of this is like so, like there's no solidity around this.
But that's how much of solidity are you trying to bring to awareness by this whole conversation about creation and this, and will it create, does it create? Yeah, because it's hard to solidify awareness. But we want to solidify it because we think those are the answers. Awareness is not an answer. if you're looking at awareness as an answer, then you are probably solidifying it afterwards to use that awareness for something. Use your awareness, go for it, but not from the space of, I had this question, now I'm looking for an answer. Being in question and asking for an answer are two different things. So everywhere you've used your awareness as an answer, can you please destroy and create it all?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Right, wrong, reply, for all 9 shots, boys and beyonds. It's not an answer. It's just an awareness.
Cool.
So
Thank you.
Tulika,
I think, okay, sorry, I'm going to mute myself.
Go on, Prerna.
Bolo, Prerna, finish what you're saying.
No, that's it. I have nothing else to say.
Yes.
So what I was asking is, if an awareness is constantly coming on, you said it's 10 seconds, I got that. But say after a while, again that thing pops up and again that thing pops up. Then what is it?
It's still awareness. You can keep having the same awareness for years and still not do anything about it. How aware are you of the fact that you need to move your body every day? Do you?
You started the facilitation, is it?
Of course. I'm always on. When it comes to facilitation, I will go to it very quickly. Yeah. It's just an awareness. Your body's been giving you that awareness forever. You choose when you choose. But you'd rather solidify that awareness into judging yourself and creating disease or upset or something because of not following the awareness.
That was what essentially it always was for me, is that being aware, and then that thing would happen, and then I would judge myself because I knew that was going to happen, and then I didn't do anything about it anyway, and I let that thing happen. So it was
And
very
then-
much.
And then
Sorry.
blame ourselves for creating it. You know,
Yeah.
so when there's an awareness of some shit that's going to show up, right? And then you blame yourself. I mean, I used to blame myself for having created that shit in my life. Like, for instance, someone dying or someone. My phone just died. Someone falling ill. Or,
And then came back
or
alive in a second? How does it do that?
As in, I got a call and we were in Zoom, so.
And the screen also
Like that.
switched like magic from this to that.
Correct.
Cool.
So, you get that. So is it awareness, or are we, when we have so my question really was, when we have an awareness, are we really contributing by creating it somewhere, like actualizing it somewhere?
You can, and that is a choice. You're
Oh my
missing a
God,
whole
yes.
step in between.
Oh my God, yes. So you have an awareness and you're still choosing it. Oh, see,
You're missing
that was
the choice, which is what this whole 3 months is going to be about, is choice you create. Is you went straight from awareness to judgment or doing or action, and you miss the element of choice. Choosing
So
to
you
do
can
something
not choose.
is just a choice. But you're blaming awareness for it somewhere. Or not blaming yourself for not following.
blaming yourself, yeah.
But
No,
this is nothing to
blaming
do with
myself.
awareness.
But that can be a
Blaming myself for
conclusion,
not-
right?
Okay, we're talking one on top of another.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Who wants to go first? Yes, Dattu.
So blaming oneself for not choosing after the awareness comes.
It's just judgment. It has nothing to do with choice, awareness, creation. That's all bullshit. That's just your excuse of figuring out another way to judge yourself.
That means you're concluding, right?
Sorry.
Well, you have to do some amount of conclusion to do judgment. Otherwise, you can't judge. If you never had a conclusion, you probably would have a very tough time judging yourself.
True.
I'm loving this conversation.
No, absolutely.
Kicking my butt. I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, instead of going into the conclusion, you should question, right?
There is no should.
No? Oh, you should. No, you don't should. Sorry.
Wrong word. I cannot use that word. That's
She's not giving
minus
us
1 point for that. No, that's not what I mean by, no, wrong word. I once had this very vulnerable conversation, at least it was for me. And I was like, Gary, I'm going to use the word what, but I'm actually asking you how. So just using different words means nothing. It just means the energy behind it is still should. So Hitakar, when I said there's no should, and you immediately go, yeah, I'm not should. Look at it. This is what we do. We say words, we mean them, and then just because they're not the right words, and you can swap them out because you've learned the best dictionary to use now, doesn't mean jack shit. You're still operating from that space of I should do this, I need to do this, I must do this, or if not, I will end up creating the awareness that I had, and then I will judge myself for creating the awareness. It doesn't matter, because you might be using the fancy words that you learned lately, but
it's like instead of I want this cup of tea, I desire for this cup of tea.
Yeah, but you're still saying the same thing.
That's what.
Yeah. Well, in your case, you're already having the cup of tea. So that's a completely different energy. That's when you can't have it. You decide, oh man, I would really want it. That's when you go into, I really want a cup of tea. But if it's right in front of you, you'll never say, I want a cup of tea. You'll just pick it up and have it.
Which I did.
That's the difference. That means there's no lack. It's already there.
Wow.
That was like, what the fuck did I just
No.
It's like
That was like
no, this is an amazing conversation. I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Let's sell this.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions?
Okay, so
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when it comes to personal mentorship, right? It says 30 minutes into 3.
Yeah.
So
Once a month,
what
we get
is
30 minutes of personal conversation.
yeah? So
And if this conversation is
Although-
anything to go by, you would know that in those 30 minutes, we would cover a lot. This is still 4 people. I can imagine one person. I didn't realize 30 minutes is a lot, because I would take 30-minute sessions with, I think Shannon, and they were amazing. She would just like kick my ass in 30 minutes, and I was, at 20 minutes, I was like, bas ho gaya. Enough. Yeah. Sorry.
So, although we are following a theme for this program, like Choose, Come and Create, 3 months, 3 different elements, when someone starts their mentorship with you, are they discussing their personal problems with you? Are they discussing, what are we really looking at those 30 minutes? Are we looking at...
Well, if you know me well, you know that if you have personal problems, they don't really last long in a conversation with me. I do not have the patience yet to deal with made up personal problems. If they're genuine, like somebody's kid is on drugs, now that's a personal problem, and that really is something that one should look at, right? So I will indulge that. I will go forward. But if your personal problem is my pinky toe has a very long nail, I'll just be like, use a nail cutter. What's next? So it's that's just who I am, and that's exactly what Prerna said, that I'll get to the bottom of it really quickly and then move on. Like, what's next, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Like laughing.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Just seeing everyone's expression, like, what? It's supposed to be a structured, defined call.
No, there was not even a single thing that was structured for her, except like, oh, let's do
exactly. Yeah, it was, yeah. I think we're done.
I don't know, you all look like dog watching television.
Yeah. And I don't think has it even been 30 minutes? It's not even personal.
No,
and it's not
Okay. So
that's the Tulika's energy.
So thank you guys for watching me
Thank you.
on our journey and our conversation about choose, commit, create, and however you choose and commit and create in your life, really, really, really wish it works out. And whatever it is that you do in your life, I know that if you use the tools, they will work for you.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Bye.